All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er video as we talk to you a little bit about Brock Purdy and his appearance on Barstool's Bussin' With the Boys. Kittle went on there, and then Purdy went on. And we are, of course, brought to you by Pig and a Pickle. We're also brought to you by Claw Daddy Arcades. They're a great follow on Instagram at Claw_Daddy_Arcades. They got brand new locations in Capitola Mall and Visalia Mall opening later on this year. And we also are sponsored by Aura, and a word from Aura in just a minute. But first, let's talk a little Brock Purdy. He went on the Bussin' With the Boys Barstool podcast, and Taylor Lewan, the former Titans offensive lineman, is one of the guys on that podcast. And you know, Purdy's always good, and they talked about a number of different things. And we'll share the screen and let you check it out right here. Here's just some of the bits and pieces from the interview. This is Brock Purdy talking a little bit about Trent Williams. Here he is talking about his offensive lineman, the future Hall of Famer, Bussin' With the Boys, talking a little bit about Trent Williams. And, you know, some good stuff there. I mean, good stuff that Trent's got his own driver, and, you know, Trent do I care about the Toyota truck? Not really. Not really. Maybe a little bit, but I don't need it. But I'll paint it pink. Classic Trent. So there you go. A little Brock Purdy right there with Bussin' With the Boys talking about Trent Williams. Now the conversation continues. And it was the conversation, kind of the similar one that Kittle had with these guys the other day. This one was about, what would you trade for that elusive Super Bowl ring that you so obviously covet? Okay, yeah, you covet it, but what would you trade? Would you cut off a limb? Would you do this? Would you do that? Here's Brock Purdy discuss. All right, a little bit of Brock Purdy. That was good. I like that last part. Are we boys? Are you just trying to catch me in something? Good stuff. Always fun. But we're not there. We're not done yet. There's more. But wait, there's more. This was one of my favorite cuts. This was how Shanahan, Brock's rookie year, pulled one over on Brock, made him think he was getting cut. I'll say this, you know, now here we are years later. He's got a $265 million contract. He's making big money. He's been to a Super Bowl. Now it's like, oh my God, no way they were going to cut him. But I'll disclose it. I won't say who it was, but I had a Niner media guy, not media relations guy, a Niner media person who thought he knew more than me. And I had said on Twitter the morning before the Friday practice, before the Saturday cutdown, Brock's rookie year, that Brock Purdy was a lock to make the roster. A lock. And then this guy waited till the practice was over, and for whatever reason, Shanahan benched Brock Purdy during this practice. If I ever get a chance to talk to Shanahan, I've got to ask him about that. Why did he not let Brock Purdy play at all in his final practice before the cutdown? This media guy waited, saw that Brock Purdy did not practice, did not touch a football for any plays during this final Friday practice the day before the cutdown. And he came up to me and he said, so Purdy's a lock to make the roster. And I was pissed. Why? Because I knew what he was doing. I knew that we had just watched the same thing. I was frustrated as hell that the Niners' best quarterback wasn't getting any reps, and I was a little fearful that maybe these guys were idiots and we're going to cut this guy. And then this media guy said, hey, I'll bet you he doesn't make the roster. I said, really? So we decided gentleman's bet, $1. I'm like, really? And I bet it. I bet the $1 anyway. Now, I was being set up because all the visual indications were that Brock was going to get cut. So now looking back at it, it's like, oh, the notion of it is just absurd that Shanahan could have cut Brock Purdy his rookie year. But I'm telling you, one of the longest standing media guys who covers the team bet me the day before the cutdown that Brock Purdy was going to be cut. I swear to you. Anyway, here's Purdy on how he thought he was getting cut rookie year and how Shanahan kind of put one over on him. and we'll share the screen on this one, and you guys can see this. But yeah, this was not a, oh my God, there's no way. So Purdy was nervous, and Shanahan went up to him, and here he shared it with. So Brock thought there was a chance they were going to cut him. Thought there was a chance that he was going to get cut. So maybe the media guy that bet me that he would get cut, maybe there was a reason that he had belief that Brock was going to get cut as well. Well, one last one here. Here's Purdy talking about when the other players started to notice him during his rookie year. I'll say this. Let me share one little story here before we play this cut. So we're driving down to practice. This is the Tuesday or Wednesday after Brock Purdy came off the bench for Jimmy against Miami. And I said to the guy I was riding down with, I'm like, we're going to find out a lot, man, today. Today is a huge day. He's like, why? I'm like, well, Garoppolo's done for the year. Purdy stepped in. He played well. But it is a rookie stepping in week 13, and you're going to find out by the vibe in the room how the guys feel about Brock Purdy. He's like, well, what do you mean? I go, well, if they're nervous, they won the game, but he's a rookie and their starting quarterback's done for the year. If they don't believe in him, it's going to be a lot about Jimmy's done and and all that. But if it's really not about Jimmy's done and there's all this bounce in the room and energy and excitement, then you can just bank that these guys all believe in this rookie. And sure enough, we walked in the room and it was like nothing had happened. The Niners had lost their starting quarterback for the year 2 days before, and there was no Paul cast over the locker room, no vibe of negativity, no, we're screwed, none of it. These guys believed in Brock Purdy from the start. And here's Brock telling these guys on Barstool about kind of how he first saw his teammates starting to kind of, notice what he was doing on the practice field as a rookie. Here it is. Wait a second. Before I say here it is, I might as well share the screen. And then here it is. There you go. All right, so now word from our sponsor. We are brought to you by our good friends at Aura, and now a word from Aura. Have you ever typed your name on the internet and seen all of your private information is online? Are you tired of receiving tons of spam calls from random numbers? Are you receiving more and more of these as time has gone on? Well, that's where Aura, the sponsor of today's show, can really help you out. Data brokers sell your information to scammers and spammers and anyone else who may want to target you. Your full name, your email, your home address, all your records, your health records, who your relatives are. It's all out there. That's why I've been using Aura. Aura shows me which data brokers are selling my information and automatically submits opt-out requests for me. Cleaning up my information not only helps reduce the amount of spam I get, but it also protects me from hackers who could use the information to help them access my social media accounts, my bank accounts, or any other sensitive information. Aura also does so much more to protect me and my family from online threats I can't see. I get other features like antivirus, VPN, password management, parental controls, identity theft insurance, and more without having to download several different apps. It's really easy to set up, and best of all, I get everything at one affordable price. I value my privacy, and I value yours. You can go to the link in the description to start your 2-week free trial. And thanks to Aura for being a proud sponsor of The Krug Show. All right, good stuff there with Brock Purdy on with Barstool's Bussin With the Boys. And let's talk a little bit about that last answer. He talked about how he walked into the locker room and he saw Fred talking to Trent saying, man, I can't wait to see this Purdy kid against Green Bay. And you know what? I was saying the same things. Now, at this point in time, I was already a total believer. Because I had done the deep dive. My buddy who had scouted Purdy sent me a whole video saying, hey, man, watch this guy. Then I saw it in the minicamp, and I'm like, whoa, this guy looks amazing. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to talk about it until he looks good in training camp. But we got to training camp, and he looked phenomenal in training camp. And I remember walking up to Tim Ryan going into that, the Niners color analyst, going into that preseason game and saying to him, man, I really like what I've seen from Purdy. I can't wait to see him this week in live action. And he said, Krug, I agree. So then fast forward to the game. And this is where I absolutely was totally and utterly convinced. Because you got to know what you're watching. Most rookie quarterbacks in their first preseason game, their eyes are spinning. They're staring at coverages. Everything's too fast. They're just getting used to their receivers. The verbiage and the play calls is lengthy. You're no longer just holding up a card. The complexity of coverage and play calling and being in command at the line of scrimmage is vast. What you have to do is huge and massive, wordy, and it's mental gymnastics. And this is all what a rookie has to deal with. So most rookie quarterbacks, when they get in there, their heads spinning. And football 2.0, football 3.0, football 5.0, all the finer points of football really get thrown out the window in a guy's first exhibition game because he's just getting used to, and whoa, those are all NFL guys. These guys all have NFL speed. Man, the defense is moving faster. The play calls are more complex. The coverages are more complex. The windows are smaller. In college, everybody's open. In the pros, nobody's open. There's just all kinds of things that you have to adjust to, and rookie quarterbacks are usually their head is spinning, not Brock Purdy. In his first preseason game, the Niners, he was put in there in the second half. Niners had a lead, and he literally was working the play clock down to like 1 or 2 on every play because he wanted to show his teammates, the coaches, and most importantly, Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch, of where he was at mentally. And what it really showed guys like me and guys like Tim Ryan and guys who know the sport is that the moment not only was not too big for this guy, he was in total command. You don't see that often from a rookie to be in total command. The play clock at the end of a meaningless preseason game is about like the 40th concern of most rookie quarterbacks. But when you're Brock Purdy and you're trying to show everybody that you're playing this like you were the starter, you're trying to show everybody that you have what it takes to be the starter. You want to show them that even though you got a million things going on, you can still work that play clock down to 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second, because you care that much about winning this meaningless game. And to me, that was an eye-opener. That was like, hey, not only is the moment not too big for me, I got this. All the variables, I got it. All the verbiage, I got it. All the complexity, I got it. The speed difference, I got it. Everything. It told me that this guy was ready to compete for an NFL job, and he's ready to play in the NFL. And it told Tim the same thing. I saw Tim at practice the next week. I said, Tim, can you believe what we saw on Friday night or Saturday night or whatever it was? And he looks me right in the eye and he said the same thing. And he goes, the play clock? I said, yeah, the play clock. You worked that play clock. He's like, I know. It was amazing. The guy was working the play clock in his first start in the NFL ever. And he's got a million things going on in his head. And he's got the, enough control and command of the situation to work the play clock down to 1 or 2. And it showed quarterbacking 5.0 from a rookie in his first game ever in the NFL. So, man, that was an eye-opener. And I remember Tim and I looking at each other going, man, they got something, man. They got something. And I could not have been convinced of anything other than Brock Purdy is a very good NFL quarterback. And this was 2022 after the first preseason game. And I still had people on radio going, hey, oh, come on, Krug, this guy ain't that good. But I'm like, no, dude, you're wrong. This guy is that good. And here we are. Now he's $265 million. He's the unquestioned leader. But great little sit down there. Brock Purdy on Barstool with Bussin' with the Boys. Thanks to Aura. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle. Thanks to Sharp Corner Sports Cards and Collectibles. Thanks to all of you for supporting The Krug Show on YouTube.